So I was picking out a domain for Mole in the Maker, which is my social media account, right? And so it's where I do DIY projects, and I've done it for a long time. And I wanted a website that I can either link to affiliate links, I could show different projects, and just kind of connect with people. And so I looked up moleinthemaker .com, and it was available. I had it for a year, and it dropped.
Oh,
And
no.
then I lost it. And so I had to sign up for another domain. And unfortunately, now mine's moleinthemaker.us. How bad is that?
That sucks, first of all. And I've
Yeah, it
had that
does.
same thing happen to me,
Yeah.
to where I had a domain for my agency, and this was years and years ago. Like, I wasn't even really doing a whole lot with it. I was just doing freelance, and I let it lapse, let the renewal lapse,
Yeah.
and someone bought it up.
Yeah.
And I, like, a year, I didn't care for about a year, and then I was like, you know what, I actually do like that, and it was not available.
Yeah.
And I waited
such a
for
bummer.
years and years. In fact, it's kind of a funny story, because as I did my agency full time, I had a different name, and it just so happened that when that year mark was up for my old domain that I really wanted back, because it was only 6 characters long, which is
It's very
unheard
short.
of now.
Yeah, very short.
It came up for sale for $3,000, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for that. Like,
Yeah.
but I was tempted to, because I was like, when's the next time I'm going to get a 6-character domain?
Yeah.
And luckily, my new agency name was the same as a company in Canada. And they contacted me and said, "Hey, we have the same name as you, but we noticed you own the domain and you don't have a website up." Because I didn't have a website up.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Could we buy it from you?" And I'm like, "This is going to be a big pain to switch names and things like that." But I was like, "Tell you what, I have a domain that I want, and it's $3,000. If you'll pay me $3,000 for this current domain, then I'll sell it to you, and then I can go buy the other one." And they did.
Oh, nice.
So
it worked out.
I'm like, I'm never letting go of that again. But
Yeah.
but anyway, so and the issue that you ran into is the .com version got taken.
Yeah.
Right. So you had to get creative on, like, what other top level domain, could I use? And you
Yeah.
chose .us.
Yeah.
Now, when you say how bad is that, do you mean from like a Google perspective or from like a user perspective, like someone actually going to your website?
I think both. I assume it's obviously not going to get as much traffic as .com would. .com's still kind of the king. Am I
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if you can get the .com, like, you certainly should, because I think if anyone were to type in your website, if you're like, oh, my website's moleinthemaker.com or moleinthemaker.us, like, at some point they're going to forget that .us, and they're going
Yeah.
to probably type in .com.
Yeah.
So it only really hurts you from the people that are hearing about you and then trying to look you up later.
Yeah. Makes sense.
From a Google perspective, Google claims that your top level or that your domain name doesn't really matter, doesn't impact your search engine results rankings. But I'm going to call BS on them a little bit. But not for the .us. I think the top level domain, the .us, .code, whatever, I don't think Google really cares about that. What Google does care about is the rest of your domain name. So do you have a domain name with a valuable keyword in there that is natural? Like, you're not just stuffing a bunch of keywords in there just to rank on Google, but like, so say you were doing woodworking.
So if what if I didn't know, I'm someone that doesn't even know what a keyword is? What would that be?
So something that is related to what people are searching for. So say for instance, and I know this isn't necessarily the case like with you, but say you were doing woodworking.
Yeah.
You would probably want woodworking or something like that in the domain, like, and you got to be careful because woodworking is actually pretty long.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get too long on your domains, but you would want to have some sort of common term that someone would search for in your domain if you can. Now, there are 5 common mistakes that people make when choosing a domain. One of them we kind of just talked about is it having to be too long. you want to have as short of a domain name as possible, right? You don't want to have mullenthemakerwoodworking.com. Like that would
That's
just be
just so long.
insane,
Yeah.
like ridiculous. It'd be decent from an SEO perspective in a way because you had woodworking in there, but I think the length of it would just not be good. So, you can use other top level domains. Like one example that I came up with was like for a marketing company. Say it's redmarketingsolutions.com.
Yeah.
Way too long. But there is a top level domain that's .solutions. So you could do redmarketing.solutions, and it just looks a lot better.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks a lot shorter. And so like keep it short, keep it clear, keep it easy to say. Like those are going to be your common solutions to having to be too long. The second one is hyphenations or weird spellings. So if you have a domain, say for example, like the one I came up with, we'll stick with a marketing agency, best-marketing-agency.com.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It sounds awful. And
yeah.
it's a pain to spell to people. Like if you were wanting to say, hey, our company's best marketing agency, like now all of a sudden you have to explain, but there's hyphens in between the best and the between
Yeah.
marketing and agency,
Yeah.
or you have to just spell, like it just becomes a mess. And then the weird spellings, like if you throw in like a weird Z, like a Z for an S,
Yeah.
then you have to be like, but use a Z for the, like it just doesn't work.
The more natural the word is that people know offhand, the better, because they can just type it in and they're going to spell it correct.
For people to look
versus, I know you can't put a $sign as like your S, but like that kind of thing where it's like, I'm going to misspell this to be trendy.
Yes.
Like I understand what you're saying, but
you can't do yourself
domain
a disservice.
wise, you're hurting yourself.
Right. The next tip, the third tip, is ignoring searchability. So, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the make sure that there's some keywords in there. Like, so say you had like an HVAC company called like Sunshine HVAC, right? You wouldn't want like sunshineinc.com. You would want something like sunshinehvac.com, right? Just something that kind of helps people understand what your business is about. If you're helping a person understand what your business is about, you're helping Google understand as well. Google's all about like the whole natural language and like making it for a user, not for Google.
That makes sense. Right. The easier it is, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fourth tip, failing the radio test. So if they can't spell it once they hear it, then it's probably not a good domain. So if you were to tell me like it's mullenthemaker.com, like if I hear that, can I spell it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Now Mullen might be tricky, right?
Yeah, it does. A lot of people say IN or Mullins with an S. Yeah.
So the easier you can make it to read and to hear once, and then they can go and type that in, the better.
Yeah.
And the fifth tip, mistake to avoid, is to make sure you choose a name that you can own everywhere. Like, we're talking social handles, everything. Like, make sure that those are all available so you can be consistent across your social handles and also your domain name.
Yeah, I think it makes it so much easier when it's like that too, because then your .coms, your website address, to your @ handle for Instagram, to your Facebook page being facebook.com/that, it makes it so much simpler, because then you can just tell one person one thing and they can search it anywhere and it's going to pop up.
Yeah, and like it's worth saying it's hard to find a good domain name now.
Yeah.
It truly is. And so like there are certain instances to where you can't avoid breaking one of these rules.
Yeah.
Right? Just because that's what's available. But if you can avoid it, I would highly recommend that you avoid these 5 mistakes. And I will give one bonus tip as well. And that is, make sure that there are no hidden words within your domain. When you string multiple words together without any spaces, Sometimes you can get words in between, like the last three of one word and the first three of other, make a word that maybe not be, it might not be what you want.
It may not be appropriate.
It may not be appropriate. There's so many instances online to where
That's
like
funny.
it spells out something that it really shouldn't.
That's so,
And so-
I've never thought about that.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
look
funny.
for those hidden words that can be caused by combining two words together.
So this kind of all starts when you almost want to think about this when you're actually naming your company at the very inception,
Yes.
because your Instagram handle, your Facebook, your domain, and the name of your company should all be one. So it's like you might have a really good name, but then you go on and the Instagram's taken, the domain's taken, and if that's all taken, well then, all right,
Maybe
let's
try a different one.
try a different name. Maybe
But if
it's-
you already go and purchase
Especially- yeah.
and register the business, it makes it really difficult
Yeah.
to change the name of the business. It's so difficult and so time consuming to change your business name. Like, do it at the very beginning if you can.
Thanks for listening. Every week we go over news, tips, tricks, and best practices to help you grow your small business. So follow and subscribe below.
For more information, check out our website at launchingpros.com, where you get access to a bunch of free resources and courses designed to launch and grow your business online. Check out the links below.